Would you like to become a certified trauma tapping technique practitioner at a fraction of the cost you would normally pay for other tapping certifications? Would you like to learn foundational and advanced techniques from more than 30 world-class EFT practitioners? If you answer yes to either or both of those questions, you are in the right place. All of that goodness straight ahead in this episode of EFT Tapping Junction and Energy Healing for Well-Being. Steve Carter, your host for EFT Tapping Junction, as well as the host for Energy Healing for Well-Being and other positive living podcasts, all available at stressreliefradio.com. 1 year ago this month, longtime EFT practitioner Gene Monteroselli hosted the second annual 24 Hours of Tapping. In this event, he brought together more than 30 world-class experts who shared their expertise, their knowledge about how to apply emotional freedom techniques to eliminate emotional blocks, to create healthy, happier lives, to turn your dreams into realities, all with the help of emotional freedom techniques. The purpose of this event was to raise funds for the Peaceful Heart Network, which is an organization that has been doing amazing trauma relief work in some of the most difficult and challenged areas in the world. I know personally the two founders of the Peaceful Heart Network, those two individuals being Gunilla Hamne and Ulf Sandstrom. Many of the well-known world-class EFT practitioners who joined Gene for last year's 24 Hours of Tapping event are again returning for this 2024 event. These experts include Brad Yates, Carol Look, Steve Wells, Dr. David Feinstein, Dr. Dawson Church, John D. Whitus, Dr. Petta Stapleton, and others. For this year's event, Gene is also including a good number of practitioners who are new to this Tapathon event. Some of these new experts include Abby O'Donovan, who will be sharing guidance for tapping for male sexual problems, Bettina Blanchard, tapping for clutter, Craig Weiner, the transformative potential of growing your business, Jamando Barathi, mental health and psychosocial support in an emergency. Jamando has been a trauma tapping technique or TTT trainer since 2007. TTT is the method that Ulf and Gunilla developed and has helped hundreds of thousands of people around the world. Speaking of trauma tapping technique, this is a method that you can easily achieve certification in. Compared to other tapping protocols, the training and certification requirements are very doable. You'll find information about how to certify as a trauma tapping technique practitioner on the website for Peaceful Heart Network, and the address for that website is peacefulheartnetwork.se. peacefulheartnetwork.se. You'll find a direct link to that information in this episode's show notes. Returning to the lineup for presenters, Hans Hermann Baretz will be sharing guidance for TTT and EFT and how they're being used in the war crisis in Ukraine. Jackie Vermont will be sharing guidance for tapping for difficult and high-risk births. Jessica Ortner, finding peace in uncertain times. Jules Vandermate, become a body whisperer. Julie Schiffon, tap into your vibrant health. And the list goes on. There are more than 30 world-class experts who will be sharing their expertise over this 24-hour tapping marathon. The good news here is you do not have to stay up for 24 hours. As a matter of fact, you do not even have to join the event when it is broadcast on July 12th, 2024, starting at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. All you need to do is register by providing your name and your email address. When you do that, you're going to receive reminders about the event, bonus trainings and interviews, access to the replays you can listen to at your leisure, plus 2 bonus tapping meditations you can download right away. Over the years, I've met and worked with a number of the people who will be participating in this event. These are truly world-class practitioners. You'll find all the information about this event by going to 24hoursoftapping.com, and that is 24 the number 24 24hoursoftapping.com. Coming up in just a moment, I'm going to share the segment from last year's episode where I describe how to do trauma tapping or how to apply the trauma tapping technique. I will be sharing this episode in 2 podcasts, one being EFT Tapping Junction, and the second, Energy Healing for Well-Being. We do have listeners for Energy Healing for Well-Being that are not EFT practitioners. However, whether you use Reiki, quantum touch, or other energy medicine methods, I do encourage you to also explore adding emotional freedom techniques or trauma tapping technique as an additional skill for helping your clients or for self-care. All of the information that you'll need to learn more about the 24 Hours of Tapping event, the Peaceful Heart Network, information about the podcasts that are part of our Stress Relief Radio network, along with other resources. You'll find that information at stressreliefradio.com. Let's now join the segment from my earlier podcast about how to do and apply trauma tapping technique. The tapping protocol developed by Gunilla Hamne and Ulf Sandstrom of the Peaceful Heart Network is a simplified tapping method that requires no setup statement, no reminder phrase, and no 9-gamut component. It's silent, easily done, and it just works. Let's tap through the TTT protocol together. Begin with tapping the karate chop point. Give each tapping point about 10 to 15 taps. From the karate chop point, move to the eyebrow point. Tap that for 10 to 15 taps. Slide down to the side of the eye point. Tap there, and by the way, you can tap with one hand on one side of the face or 2 hands on both sides of the face. From the side of the eye, slide down to the under eye position. Tap there. Tap under the nose, under the lip, collarbone, but also go shoulder to shoulder, up and down the sternum, lots of meridian points along the sternum, including the Sea of Tranquility. Good, that feels really good. You can use the flat of the hand or your fingertips or both. Next, tap under the underarm. Good. Now we're going to move to the finger points. If you don't know where those finger points are, check the show notes or episode description. I have a 55-second video that shows you how to tap those finger points. And we're going to begin with the little finger. Tap the little finger point, not the thumb. We'll get to the thumb momentarily. Tap the little finger point. Good. Tap the ring finger. And for those who are purists, yes, I know the triple warmer point is on the opposite side. Tap the ring finger anyway. Tap the middle finger. Tap the index finger. Tap the thumb. Now go back to the chest area, the collarbone. Tap from the collarbone to collarbone, up and down the sternum. It feels really good to do that. And hold, take an in-breath, allow a loving in-breath, bring the in-breath in, hold momentarily, and exhale. Good. Bring in another in-breath. Hold, and then release the breath. Good. Now we are going to repeat that same protocol. There's no need for any setup statement. There's no need for a reminder phrase. If you're tapping for general stress, you can say, I choose to release all of this stress, and you'll say that in mind. Or if there's a specific issue that you would like to work on, bring that into awareness. You don't have to talk about it. You don't have to verbalize anything. Just be aware of it. Notice where you're feeling that in your body. Notice the suds level. You'll use the TTT tapping process twice through. So that is the karate chop point, eyebrow point, side of the eye, under the nose, under the lip, collarbone, but include more than just the collarbone. Go across, shoulder to shoulder, up and down the sternum. That really feels good. Go under the arm, and then tap the finger points, beginning with the tiny finger, ring finger, middle finger, index finger, thumb, and again tap the collarbone area, shoulder to shoulder, up and down the sternum. Allow 2 loving in and out breaths. I suggest placing one or preferably both hands over your heart, one hand over the other. Allow a loving in-breath. Hold briefly, and then an exhalation. Good. And then a second loving in-breath and gentle exhalation, releasing any and all stress everywhere in your body. Excellent. I'll also suggest adding a final yawn, sigh, stretch. Yawn, sigh, stretch. Feels so good. And then one final in and out breath. And that is the trauma tapping technique protocol. Let's return for a moment to the 24-hour tapathon being offered by Gene Monteroselli. A question: why should you register? My answer: because you're going to receive tips, techniques, and wisdom from 34 world-class practitioners, to include Gene himself, Dr. Dawson Church, Carol Look, Brad Yates, Dr. David Feinstein, Dr. Petta Stapleton, Ganella and Olf, John D. Whitus, Steve Wells, and it just goes on and on. These are true experts. You're going to receive the replay links you can listen to on your own schedule, and you're going to receive bonus content. Whether you are brand new to tapping or you've been using meridian tapping methods for many years, there is going to be a rich treasure trove of resources and knowledge you can put to work right away. Do register for this event at www.24hoursoftapping.com. That's 24hoursoftapping.com. I'll have this event website, the Peaceful Heart Network website, and Gene's Tapping Q&A website. All of those will be linked in the show description, and that is also known as the show notes. If you're not yet following EFT Tapping Junction, where you get your podcasts, this is a perfect time to do that. When you select follow in your listening app of choice, you will never miss an episode. If you would like to be in touch to share comments about this episode or for any reason, email me at cartermethod@gmail.com, cartermethod@gmail.com. And my website is stressreliefradio.com, stressreliefradio.com. Until our next visit together, this is your host, Stephen Carter, for EFT Tapping Junction, wishing you and your loved ones blessings in abundance.